All right. Yep, 2 recipes are going around. We're doing a simple roux first. So I'm doing it in the frying pan. This is usually done in a pot. We're making a sauce, right? So if you don't have a pot, make sure you have a bigger fry pan with higher sides. So you can see it, I'm doing it in here. So it calls for 3 tablespoons of butter. So with a bechamel, you need to have equal parts weight. Equal parts weight. So 3 tablespoons of butter is not 3 tablespoons of flour. We need to weigh it. So you'll see in the videos, Gordon Ramsay is using, he says grams. It doesn't matter what it's in. But no, you can do Google. What is the equivalent in flour to 3 tablespoons of butter? Okay. You can, if you don't have butter, you can use olive oil. Olive oil has a nice flavor like butter. You don't want to use any canola oil or vegetable oil or anything like that. You can use coconut oil if you want, avocado oil. Those all have nice flavor tastes, where canola oil, peanut oil, they don't have any flavor. They're called neutral oils.
Don't they burn easier too?
No, it's the fat. Butter burns, and then from there. Okay, so this recipe you'll see on there, it says 3 tablespoons of butter, and it is 4.5 tablespoons of flour. That equals okay, I'm making a different one. I'm sorry. Okay, so 4.5 tablespoons of flour is 1.5 ounces. 3 tablespoons of butter equals 1.5 ounces all. So equal parts. All right, so I have my butter in here, just like we made the roux before. We're gonna stir it around. Our butter is not fully melted, but we're just gonna, we're not looking for color, right? We're looking to cook off the flavor of the, so we're looking for, what was it, the white sauce. Remember when we were doing white sauce, blonde, then the darker sauces. We're just looking for that white to stay white. So we just wanna move it around our pan. I have my milk, 3 cups of milk, room temperature or warm. It incorporates better. You're gonna see some discrepancies when we go through the videos. Gordon Ramsay says use cold, and some of the other chefs say warm or room temperature. It matters because when we put this in the pan, it's gonna, if it's too cold, it's gonna foam up, right? So we are going to, it's gonna be warmer anyway than the milk. So I'm gonna pour it in thirds. Now I'm gonna whisk, 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 trying to get all of those lumps incorporated. I wanna get the flour to soak up the liquid. And it's gonna look like it's not gonna like smooth out, don't worry. Again, I'm doing this so that you can see it better, but you would normally be doing it in a pot. So you'll have less cooking surface if you're doing it in a pot. Okay, it's coming together, it's getting nice and thick. So there's still some lumps, don't worry. We're gonna add another third. At this point, it gets a little messy. Milk was flying everywhere. Again, you do it in a pot, you don't do it, or a high side pan, you don't do it in a regular frying pan like I'm doing it. And just keep it moving around. The more you agitate it, the smoother it's gonna become. We're not gonna add all the milk because we don't know exactly the consistency we're gonna need. Right, depends on how starchy the pasta is. The cheese that we're gonna use or whatever else we're gonna do with this next. As it cools down, it gets super, super thick. That looks nice. Okay, I'm gonna add another third, and then I'm gonna reserve a little bit left over. We're gonna be using this as a cheese sauce, right? We're gonna add a little bit of cheese to it, make a Mornay sauce. You can reserve a little bit of the milk, or in this case, I'm gonna reserve some pasta water to help thin it out if I need to. Again, once the sauce is cooked and ready, you're gonna wanna add warm milk or stock or something warm to it to loosen it up. You don't wanna bring the sauce temperature down by adding cold stuff to it. Like with hot chocolate, you don't want to let the milk sit in the pan, not stirring it. Anybody ever make hot chocolate before? No? If you don't stir your milk, it's going to burn. It's a good thing I didn't add the rest of the milk. It's pretty liquidy. So we're going to bring it up to a boil. And then I'm going to reduce the heat or take it off the heat at this point because I'm going to add the cheese. We don't want to add the cheese on the heat. Some chefs will. Well, I'd rather not. I've had more success adding it off. The only thing is that cold cheese brings down the temperature. So make sure you do the cheese ahead of time and you leave it out. Not enough so that it's sweating or anything like that, but it's gonna seize up the sauce just like the milk did. Let's see where it's at right now. It's hard to tell if it's bubbling or not, especially when you're whisking it so much. I'm gonna get my wooden spoon. I'm gonna see what it looks like. So here's our white sauce, right? So again, this is a base to many different things. So I'm gonna turn it off right now. I'm gonna add a traditional bechamel, salt, nutmeg. This one called for 2 teaspoons. And the last class, if we're gonna take it and make it a Mornay with the cheese, the cheese is salty. So we have to watch our salt. So I just did 1 and it was perfect. So I'm just gonna do 1. And I'm gonna do just a hair of nutmeg because technically I really don't like it. But, so that's a traditional bechamel sauce. Now we're gonna kick it up and we're gonna make it a Mornay. So at this point, we're gonna add some pepper to it. Again, we're making a cheese sauce. We could add beer, take the beer, put it on the stove, reduce it so that all the alcohol boils out. and you're left with the nice malt flavors of the beer itself. Again, you're melting it all out. So, I mean, evaporating it all out. So you're going to get the nice taste of the beer without the alcohol. You can add Worcestershire at this time. It brings it more flavor, umami. Remember, we talked about the umami flavors. So at this point, the heat is off, and I'm going to take some cheese. Oh, I forgot to add the pepper. So when we add pepper to it, if we do black pepper, it's going to be black dots, right? There is a white pepper that you can add. And if you add the white pepper, there's still a little bit of darkness to it, but it's not as bad. You don't have the contrast like this. But I'm just going to melt my cheese in. I'm going to be mixing it around. Again, off the heat. Remember, we're adding the room temperature cheese to it. We're trying to incorporate it, mix it all in. We don't want to add the cheese to it while the fire's on, because it'll just get too hot and it'll break the cheese, and the fat will separate from the oil. And stirring it is what's going to help melt it. And you might have some lumps in there. It's okay. At this point, maybe you want to put your noodles on, right, to get them so they're nice and hot. So again, when you add the cheese to it, it'll help melt the rest of the cheese. And notice I had a lot more white cheese, right? The yellow cheese, cheddar cheese is very funny with heat. So you want to be careful with it. That's why like Velveeta and stuff, they're not fully yellow cheese. They're only 50% cheese. So we want to be super careful. You can use any kind of fancy cheeses. Gruyere, provolone, Munster. There's all kinds of cheese. Make sure you eat the cheese first to make sure you like it. There used to be there is a Ralph's in Rancho Cucamonga on Baseline, and they used to have a cheese bar, and it was just this big island of all kinds of cheese from all over the world. Switzerland, Ireland, Italy, Montenegro. There was just so much cheese from all, and it was sheep's milk cheese, there was goat milk cheese, and there was cow milk cheese. So all the cheeses are not the same. Our American cheeses are nothing like European cheeses, right? They treat their animals different. They feed them better. All right. Again, the residual heat from the pan, from the stove. It's coming right along. Now, as it gets cooler, right, it's thickening up. So at this point, either warm up your milk or use the hot pasta water that you have to thin it out. So I'm gonna, I'm going to reserve some of the water because it's already hot to thin out the sauce. All right. Here it is. I'm going to put the pasta back in there. There's a little bit of water. It's fine. Because do you see how thick it is, the cheese sauce? And then I'm going to scoop some of this water out. It's called reserving, right? Some pasta water. Thank you. So this is a casserole dish. If you were making baked macaroni and cheese, I would take it, coat it with butter all the way around, put my mac and cheese inside, sprinkle it with some more butter on top, some cheese, put it in the oven. You want to make sure, though, that you have enough cheese so that it stays creamy and don't over bake it. I would definitely like look at the consistency of it. Okay, so it's nice and loose. I'm gonna add the cheese. Look how thick. I'm gonna use half. And I'm gonna mix it around. Okay, if you haven't made enough, again, this would probably be a good time to, right, add some of your liquid to it. But it looks pretty good. I like a lot of cheese. I hate dry macaroni and cheese, especially if they're in the, if you bake it in the oven. So I'm gonna add more to it. Again, it's just gonna thin it out. As it cools, it's gonna get nice and thick, depending, again, what you wanna do with it. So I'll take this out of the way. Put this over here. It is super nice and creamy. At the end, we can finish it with some more cheese. If you wanted to maybe put some more nutmeg on it, anything like that. I just realized I didn't taste it. So I'm gonna taste the cheese sauce just to make sure. What am I worried about? It's cheese and butter. Yum. Okay. If you do taste it, when you're making the roux, it's gonna taste like, what did they say? Pancakes. So, you know, ever taste a pancake batter? It's literally just milk, right? Milk and flour, and it's kind of like lackluster. But help yourself, and then go back to your spots. So leave your stuff there, and then while you're eating, I'm gonna play the videos. Yes? So start lining up. Take some for to go.